Hey there, students. Welcome to my instructional video on making note cards and outlines. So far, you have picked a person from the Time 100 or someone else that you thought was deserving of the Time Person of the Year title. Then you found at least 3 good sources, and by good I mean that they're credible, they're fairly current, and also hopefully they're helpful. They have lots of information that can be used to help you in your paper. And then finally, you used ezbib.com to make those citations and paste those citations into a Word document that now has essentially become your Works Cited page. So what do we do now? Well, it's time for us to look at those sources, highlight things that many of you have already done, facts and tidbits, and organize those facts and tidbits using one of these 2 methods. Now I say one of the 2 because usually in the past, I've always had students do both of them. You would start with doing the note cards, and then you would make an outline with the note cards. But I decided this year, you know what? They're both organizational techniques, so just pick one or the other. I prefer the note card method, and I'll explain why later on, but here's how note cards work. So you have a note card, you read a source, you find a fact you really like, you put the fact smack dab in the middle of the note card, either directly quoted or paraphrased, put a little citation after it so I know what source it came from, and you know what source it came from. And then also a keyword at the top. So if it's talking about a very specific charity that it's involved with giving shoes to people who are in poverty, put shoes in the very top. Something that's going to remind you, oh yeah, that's what this fact is talking about. A sample note card that I have for you right here is all entirely made up. So this is a direct quote, right? Quote, John Smith, the famous rapper, took part in a project this year that involved constructing 1,000 new wells in Africa despite the danger of militia groups in that particular region. Strickland, author's last name, and there was a page number 3, okay? And then end quote, of course. Now in the top corner, I wrote down Africa because that's what it's talking about. You could also paraphrase the information, so if that was the direct quote taken directly from the source, here's the info paraphrase, no quotation marks obviously. Even though the area was under heavy fire and faced numerous threats of vigilante military groups, John Smith put his music career on hold to build 1,000 new wells in a poor region of Africa. It's saying the same thing, but I'm putting it into my own words. And again, same keyword being used up there, Africa. Now let's find an actual practical example. Here is a page from CNN's technology page. And this is an article, again, about Elon Musk, who I used in previous examples. It says, Elon Musk thinks he can get you from New York to LA in 45 minutes. Let's assume I saw this source, I liked the source, I took the URL, copy-pasted it into ezbib.com, made my citation, went through the source, and now I'm starting to highlight and find information that I like. There's an example of what the citation would look like, so you know that. This should look familiar. You should have a number of these examples. So I read the source, and let's say, ooh, this fact right here, I really, really like that. So I'm going to use it, and I made it into a direct quote. Directly quote, and in an interview with Pando Daily, Musk said the Hyperloop could form a 5th tentpole of modern transportation, and then I ... because it's an ellipsis. I took out a part of the quote, but it still makes sense if you read it, so you can use an ellipsis if you want. Because of its low energy usage and ability to get juice from solar power, it could generate more power than it would consume. Great. Lavrink, author's last name. No page number because it's an electronic source, and most websites you just kind of scroll on endlessly, and there are no page numbers. So there's a direct quote. And I put environment as my keyword in the corner. This is that same note card, only paraphrased. So now I put it into my own words, no quotation marks. Elon Musk's Hyperloop could revolutionize transportation using solar energy and causing little to no harm to the environment, semicolon. It is also more affordable because it doesn't require as much energy. Again, Lavrink, because even if you paraphrase information, you're still getting it from somewhere else, and that person deserves to be cited. Exact same keyword in the corner, environment. My thoughts here, you have to do 20 note cards. Make 15 of the note cards paraphrased facts and pieces of information. Make 5 of them direct quotes because you don't want the majority of your paper to be word for word from somebody else. So this is the breakdown that I would personally use to make a really strong, healthy paper. Now, looking at this website, let's assume that there was no Lavrink, okay? It doesn't give you an author's last name because some of you have sources like this. What do you put there, all right, for your citation? Well, you go to the first major word of the article title. So in this case, it's Elon. Because it's a piece of an article title, we have to put that in quotes as well. So it looks something like this. There's my note card at the very end, my citation, Elon. And then I put page 1. That was a mistake on my part. You don't have to do that. Some people do that because it's all just one page, so it is page 1 technically. I would just leave the page number out for most websites. Now, why colored note cards? Here's why. So, you get all these great colored note cards, and the way I see it, because I'm a very visual person, when I read one source, I'm going to call that source my green source. And every fact, let's say I find 3 facts, okay? Maybe I paraphrase one fact, directly quote a different fact, and then paraphrase this fact. All right, so I have 3 facts from that source. I put those off to the side. I read another source. And this one, let's say this has tons of information. It's one of my longer sources, okay, from a very credible website. And I find 4, 5, 6 pieces of information that I really like. Some are paraphrased note cards. Some are directly quoted note cards. This is just great because I can see which sources are my stronger sources. All right, the yellow source is a little better than my green source, but the green source is still usable. And then when I start actually organizing these facts and trying to determine which ones I'm going to clump together in body paragraphs, I can start making piles. So maybe this fact from the green source talks about generosity, and so I put that into a pile. But then this fact from a yellow source talks about some other charity that the person helped with, and that's also generosity. I want to put that in the same pile with that green card. So it's really nice, and by the end you'll have 3 little piles for your 3 body paragraphs, maybe more. You want to have more body paragraphs than that. It's a very helpful thing to do. And then after you do that, it's important to sort of figure out the thesis. So you've read the sources, you've organized the thoughts, and you can decide, okay, why should my person be Time Magazine's Person of the Year? Not just because, but you should have 3 reasons for your 3 body paragraphs. And they could be accomplishment-based or characteristic-based. I think accomplishment-based is stronger. So here's an example. The first one, Christopher Nolan should be Time Magazine's Person of the Year because he has revolutionized modern film through his personal trilogy of The Prestige, Inception, and Interstellar. I love Christopher Nolan's movies. They're great. And so I can see, okay, you'll be focusing on each one of the movies. Those be the body paragraphs. Or this is probably a little more common, I think, and I just made this person up, obviously. Wasn't even very creative with the name. John Doe should be Time Magazine's Person of the Year because of his successful music career, body paragraph 1. His involvement in worldwide charities, body paragraph 2, and creation of a foundation for kids with disabilities, body paragraph number 3. If that's too tough for you, characteristic-based also works. As I said before, I think it's weaker, but here's how it would look. John Doe should be Time Magazine's Person of the Year because of his courage during dangerous times, his determination to never give up, and the limitless love he has for his fans. So anything he does that you think shows courage and you can explain shows great courage would go in body paragraph 1. Anything that shows determination, maybe it's a person who had a music career and they kind of dropped out of the media's attention for a few years, but they came back again and they worked their way back to being known by the public. That could be an important thing to mention there. So for body paragraph 2, and limitless love for his fans, I don't know what you'd put there, but that's a way you can organize things. And I imagine, as I say in that bottom note right here, that you will explain them more thoroughly in the paragraph. Because saying someone's courageous, well, lots of people are courageous. So what makes this person's level of courage so astounding? So stop here if you'd like, if you plan on doing the note cards. I've told you everything you need to know about doing note cards. If you want to see the other option, we can press on. All right, the outline is the other option. The outline can be done entirely electronically, which might be better if you feel that you're a very disorganized person and this isn't going to help you. You're going to lose these note cards. The only difference is with the note card technique, you kind of start with the note cards, and it's based on what you have in your note cards and how you pile them up that makes the thesis statement. When you do an outline, you kind of need to start with the thesis statement first and then make the outline. So the tasks sort of flip-flop. Here's a sample outline. Hopefully it's not too tough to see. But you have a thesis statement at the very top. Then you have body paragraph, that should say body paragraph 1, not body paragraph 2, because it's the first body paragraph. Second paragraph altogether. Actually, there's a little jumbled. I mixed these up. This is why I teach English and not math. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3. The Roman numerals are right. And then you're going to have direct quotes or paraphrase facts, author's last name, citation, underneath it, ABCD, ABCD, probably going on further than that. Essentially, all it is instead of note cards, you're going to, for each note card, you're going to have one of these little letter lines. All right. So this would translate into this letter A for Roman numeral 1 on an outline. So let's see an example. This was a thesis statement I showed you a couple slides ago. John Doe should be Time Magazine's Person of the Year because of his courage during dangerous times, his determination to never give up, and the limitless love he has for his fans. So we put that here, plug that in there to the thesis statement way at the top. John Doe, there it is again, courage, determination, limitless love. And so then the first body paragraph would be all about courage, second body paragraph all about determination, third body paragraph all about this limitless love, which that choice of phrasing sounds it's a little uncomfortable for me. But you get the idea. So that's how that's going to work and how you'd organize your ideas. So hopefully that helped you out a bit. As I said before, I suggest doing the note cards because you'll end up with a product that's really pretty, and it'll be great to help us organize ideas sort of together, one-on-one if you're having some trouble. But the outline is very effective too, and both of these methods are going to make the actual process of writing your paper so much easier.